Hello, AuthorTube. Today I have what will obviously be my last NaNoWriMo update. So if you've been following along with my NaNoWriMo update videos, I finished the bulk of the writing relatively early, and the story ended up not being 50,000 words. So I've spent what was left of November going over the story, not quite editing it, but adding notes for revision, thinking about whether or not the setting was quite right, whether I need to expand, start the story a little bit later, all that. And so I've decided to stick with what I have as far as setting is concerned. So it's going to be, so the story will be set in the same setting. I'm going to start it a little bit later than I had originally. There was a whole sort of introductory arc which I don't think quite works. So I'm going to, delete that part, start it when the main character, Zazaril, arrives in this new city, and then take some of the interesting bits from this first part and rewrite them and insert them in later, where I think they might work a little bit better. And I'm also thinking about, there's a whole, towards the end of the middle part, a journey into this forested, swampy area near the city, and I don't think it quite works. So I'm going to really just focus everything more on this city that Zezril finds himself in, and see where I can go from there. And I also need to, will add more conflict, more bits of drama, more stuff he has to deal with, which I hinted at in the rough draft, but never went anywhere. So I'm going to rework on that, emphasize some of that, and hopefully when I start doing the revisions, this will be a much stronger story. So I'm quite happy and am looking forward to progressing on. I did find a bit of a issue though, in that while I was working a bit on working on ideas for revision and rewriting for the NaNoWriMo story, I was also thinking about another project. As I mentioned in my last update, there are 4 options I had for setting. Either stick with the more ancient setting, the typical sword and sorcery setting that I started off with, using a historical fantasy setting, diesel punk, or a contemporary setting. And since I'm sticking with this sword and sorcery type setting, I'm kind of like the other 3 are, well, historical fantasy, let's set that aside. That's going to become when I'm much better at what I do, and more skilled and have more resources. But the other 2, I can probably do something with them in other settings. The diesel punk one, I don't quite have much of an idea of what I want to do with that one. But I could do something with the contemporary. I've long been wanting to write a superhero type story, And I kind of struggled between whether to do a secondary world where I would be like have the freedom to go as crazy as I want, or a more contemporary one where I would be somewhat constrained, even though I'm not entirely sure how I want to do that. But that's for down the road. I mean, my main focus right now should be on revising and rewriting this NaNoWriMo project. So that's all I have for my last NaNoWriMo update. I don't know if I'm going to do this again. If, like, if I write the revision and really build up the sort of the habit of writing every day from at least 6:37 to 10:30, then I'm not entirely sure NaNoWriMo really, doing it again next year really would benefit me, because I probably should have gotten at least 2 or 3 novels written in that time. So, but that's a subject for at least, or at the latest, next October or so. From there, I will be signing off. Thank you, AuthorTube.